Welcome, guys, to M&I's podcast. My name is Mark, and I'm joined by my friend and co-host.
Isaiah, new audio. Hope it's okay. Nice to meet you.
Awesome, awesome. Before we get into this, if you guys enjoy our content or have anything to say, please hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get into this. We've gotten a lot of comments on one of our videos, which is titled Dana White is in Big Trouble, and we are going to address some of these comments.
Oh,
But before we do that, I just want to say to the person who commented, thank you for commenting. We really appreciate it. And let's just get into it, man. Let's just read it out. So the comment says she slapped him first. If anything, he deserves praise because he restrained himself while retaliating. As for him saying that the company would hurt without him, it's not necessarily an arrogant statement. When my battalion commander left, we were happy. No one liked him because he was a dick. Unfortunately, the people who took over were even worse because while he was a dick, at least he got things done. The other officers were just desk jockeys. They either didn't care about day-to-day operations or it took them days of meetings to come to any decision. I won't say Dana White isn't a prick, but who would you replace him with? As for a public apology, hell no. Only if his wife apologizes first. All right, Isaiah, guy number one, what do you think about this?
man. Okay, so this is a pretty like sticky situation in my book because I'm me personally, I'm one to agree that double standards um is double standards is not a thing that should belong in cases like this. I find it that you shouldn't hit anyone and then and like have some sort of repercussion for defending yourself or having some sort of reaction. The only issue with this one though is like you have to also consider the third party external factors that are in play. I mean like Dana's wife doesn't really have the biggest brand of MMA martial arts behind her back. It's Dana. Dana has that weight on his shoulders. So when you become that famous or when you have that sort of influence, this can also apply to like um, actresses, actors. It really celebrities in general. It really matters in the public eye as to what you do because that could affect like your sponsorships, that could affect your roles, your movie roles, your basically your income source. It's the same thing with Dana. Dana has it's not just him um you know it's not him holding the whole boat together. There's bigger factors now. That's just normal when you get that big. So do I do I th- do I think that what Dana's wife did was wrong? Probably. Yes. You probably shouldn't have hit Dana and um um probably would have been better to talk it out. It shouldn't have gone through that battle, but at the same time, should Dana have had a little bit more patience and thought about the repercussions of slapping her back and then think about all that? Yes, especially like Mark talked about this before where he talked about what's that word um when you have so much writing on this, it matters, it matters to the company, it matters, the image matters, then the pay-per-views or like the subscriptions do get affected in that regard because maybe you don't want to be maybe you're a large name brand. You don't want to be associated with a guy who just slapped his wife. That's the story, even though technically the wife slapped first. So a little bit more patience would have been appreciated then. But that's what I think about that. I mean, there's not much more I can say on that. It happened, and you know, who's to blame is not really the right. It's not really the right conversation to have. It's more of would have been the like the right or better reaction. If Dana didn't do anything, then you can make a case for his wife. But because it didn't happen that way, now there's like a whole bunch of different conversations. Should he spearhead the company? Should he step down? All that. But yeah, that's a whole can of worms. What do you think about that, Mark?
Yeah, dude, I completely agree on that one. It's I agree with you on the point that it should not be on whose fault it is. It's more on like how did both people react. We saw how she reacted, and then we saw how he reacted. She slapped him once, and he gave her a 2-piece and some sides.
Dog, it was the sides and the dessert, dog. It was like a really nice 1-2-1 2-2 combo, dude. Like all the way across the room.
See, if that was
Mm.
how like the power slap league was, then I'd be like, dude, I'm for it, right? Because there's a little
Hell yeah,
like
that's
technique and there's the defense, right?
oh, that's how this should change it. Yeah, slap boxing. So instead of like you staying there, it's like boxing, but it's like open-handed strikes.
Ex-
Oh,
exactly. Like I think, right, staying in the pocket and doing that's for a different discussion. But
that's
but for this, yeah, dude. However, like me personally, as I like let this marinate even more, the person who commented makes some really good points though. All right.
Mm,
Because one example of a person who does not have the best image but still got like the best pay-per-views is people like Connor and people like Floyd.
mm-hmm.
Floyd has been, you know, has been accused of a plethora of things, you know, from domestic abuse to, you know, being disorderly and all this. But he still is getting like millions of views and people, 600,000 pay-per-view buys for a few of his fights. You know, people still come in to watch him. And, you know, same thing with Connor, you know, punching an old man at a bar, going being sent to jail. And people still want to watch that, right? For Dana White, though, I can see how it still applies to him, dude. He is the UFC, and he is the face of the UFC, especially considering he was there when it was still on Spike TV, and now they're on ESPN. Do I think this is going to change anything? I don't think so. Me personally, with how diehard and how hardcore UFC fans are, this is not going to change anything. It's just going to look really bad, you know. They're like, wow, this guy's a wife beater, but it was only a one-time event, and he said in an interview in a press conference that he should not have done that, that his reaction was uncalled for. And in addition to that, you know, in 2014, he said that hitting women or beating your wife or any form of domestic or sexual assault is something that no one can bounce back from. But the thing is, this was like a one-off event. It happened like just out in a club drinking alcohol. You know, there's a lot of alcohol. And you also got to place yourself in that situation, what happened. And unfortunately, I don't think it's a good look, but as well as just to stand with your principles and moral, what you said previously and how you've instituted the UFC by putting like those bylaws of saying that, you know, if a fighter gets accused or has been charged with domestic abuse or sexual assault, that they're going to be cut from the UFC, the best thing you can do is do a public apology. You know, just to quail down, you know, public opinion. You know, a good PR stunt. Because at the end of the day, the UFC is owned by ESPN, and ESPN is owned by Disney. It'll make those people in Disney really happy to see something like that. You just apologize publicly. And you know, there was another person who commented saying that, you know, Dana White should make a donation to a women's abuse shelter or something if he's not going to do a public apology, right? And I agree. That's something. He doesn't have to make a public apology, but if he does this, it still shows that, you know, he is sorry, but what he did, especially at that quick moment, is but it already happened. I'm sure they're talking it out, what's happening behind the doors, you know, and hopefully everything gets settled, because as of right now, the UFC has so many other things to worry about, i.e. Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya and a few others, like, yeah, so Henry Cejudo versus Aljamain Sterling, right? There's so many other things going on in the UFC. Conor McGregor's return. We are literally gonna forget about this at the end of the year. No one's gonna even remember this happened.
Nope.
And that's the thing. So it is what it is, unfortunately. But I do agree with you on some points, but disagree with you on your last point, which is, should he make a public apology? I think he should. For the PR reason. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Whether or not you agree with the person who commented, or if you agree with either of us, or disagree with us. Again,
Or if you have like a completely different take on it, should they both go into slap boxing and hash it out for 4K?
oh
Yeah,
Jesus, no.
dude.
I'm just saying, guys, if you comment and like, that really helps, or even dislike our video, that helps us too. Just
any feedback, any activity, it does help us out a lot, and we love to we like to build this. You want to build this community, right? And the first way to do that is by being active. Best thing you can do.
Yeah, so again, comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you guys.
See you guys.